All right, welcome and thank you all for coming. We just wanted to kind of go over a lot of things that are going on this weekend. A very busy weekend in the city of Savannah. Unlike others, a lot of major events going on, the Pride Festival, Film Fest, and SSU Parade, just a few of them going on. And I'm sure you've heard the engines roaring. That was not the mayor late to workshop this morning. That was indeed the motoring festival that's going on as well. And we can hear them started already. We have a lot of people that will be speaking with us today. This is mainly a special events. And through our special events, film and tourism, Susan Broker is here along with Eddie Grant out of that department. Captain David Owens is with us. He will speak briefly from Savannah Police Department. I see over here Chief Price is with us. Major Gavin is with us. Sergeant Pagliaro is with us. And did I miss anybody? With Savannah Fire Rescue, Assistant Chief William Handy is with us as well. Most of these folks are up here to answer your questions and just answer questions. A couple things before Susan comes, I'm sure she will reiterate this, but I'd like to reiterate this as well. There's an email address if there are any questions that do come up. It's events@savannahga.gov. Events@savannahga.gov. And then the phone number for our special events office, 351-3837. Two important ways that you can directly contact the folks in special events should you have any questions arise throughout the day. With that, I will turn it over to Susan Broker.
Thanks, Ken. Good afternoon. As Ken said, I am the Director of Special Events, Film, and Tourism. And while we normally wait until a St. Patrick's Day type of event to come to you all and help us convey messaging to our community, we thought this weekend was busy enough, which is a great thing for the city of Savannah, to ask you to assist us in communicating to our community. I have one word to say, and that is patience. I am asking everyone to be patient. We have a lot of great events. As Ken mentioned, the Savannah State Parade is an annual great event. We also have our SCAD Film Festival. And this year, Savannah Pride is downtown in Ellis Square, and they are expecting to bring thousands of people to the downtown area. That does not take into consideration the myriad of events and all the other parks and squares that are going to be going on. You all received a list of those. You also received a list of road closures and no park areas. I want to mention that our partners, particularly those big three, the Film Festival, Savannah State, and Savannah Pride, assist with notifications. You should, if you drive in the downtown area right now, you should already see those signs up indicating to people that they cannot park at certain times. What's important for your audiences to remember is that we do unfortunately have to tow cars, and we do this advance notification and are really proactive about it so that we don't have to tow that many. So we're asking folks to really pay attention to the signs, be patient, and certainly you can call and email us, as Ken mentioned, our email address, so that we can respond to you. We will be available throughout the weekend. We will have both our great partners at SPD and at Savannah Fire, but we will also have marshals from across the city organization from various departments who will be out and about, walking the streets and also on golf carts, moving around, making sure that things are being handled, as best they can be. So there will be traffic delays. Please make sure to factor that in if you're coming downtown. And we always encourage people, of course, to use other transportation. So whether that's bus, Uber, Lyft, what have you, cab, bicycle, please try to think about how you might get to the downtown district without bringing your individual car. These are great events. They're all homegrown events. This is something that I really want to convey to people. We've heard about how Savannah has been inundated with events. This is a great thing for our economic and our cultural growth. But we also heard from our community that they want to see those homegrown events that give back to our community. Well, this weekend, that's what's happening. And so while I am telling you that it's going to be very busy and the like, I do encourage people to come out and support these local organizations so that they can continue the good work that they do in our community. So that's kind of the 30,000 foot level. I'm going to ask Eddie, the assistant director of our office, to come up and say a few words about the details related to road closures and no park areas. Okay.
All right, thank you. So like Susan was saying, tonight actually starts the weekend for us. So as you can hear across the river right now, the Hilton Head Concourse d'Elegance Speed Classic is going on. This evening there'll be a vehicle escort wherein PD, the police department, will take some of the cars over from Hutchinson Island and station them at Barnard Street on the west side of Ellis Square. That happens every year. And it's from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. tonight, and it's an event for people to go out and see the cars that are over on Hutchinson Island, possibly buy tickets or whatnot to go over to the show. That Hilton Head Concourse Motor Classic goes on throughout the weekend until Sunday, and again, that's over on Hutchinson Island. So aside from tonight, there won't be any impacts to downtown. Starting tomorrow is when everything really kicks off. So you'll see all of the no park signs going out, and you'll see road closures start happening tomorrow night. That's going to be the first annual Savannah Pride Parade. That starts at 8 o'clock. So the staging area for that is on Indian Street in that warehouse district. And then the parade will actually progress down River Street to the East Broad ramp. It'll come off of River Street onto Bay, and it'll turn south on Lincoln Street. And then it'll turn back west on Broughton Street, and the parade will actually finish at Ellis Square. So it'll turn onto Barnard, finishing at Ellis Square, where Savannah Pride will have an evening event that will end around at midnight. Sound will end at 11 o'clock, but the event itself will close completely at midnight. Then the next day, on Saturday, is when we kick off the Savannah State Homecoming Parade. Now, it's a major parade for us, so the staging area is along East Broad Street, and you'll see that staging area close at 6 o'clock in the morning between East Broad and Price from Gwinnett to Liberty Street. That'll be closed down so that the parade can stage all their units and line up and get ready to progress through the city. At 9 a.m. prompt, the parade will start. It'll go down north on East Broad Street, it'll turn west on Broughton, and then it'll turn south on MLK, where it'll go to Anderson Street to finish. So one of the things that we did to kind of reduce the closures and the parking impacts was try to keep everything focused on the Broughton Street area, so that we already have barricades set up for both parades, since one is happening in the evening and then the next one happens that very next day. While the parade is going on, the Savannah Pride Festival will be also occurring. That Pride Festival is centered in Ellis Square. Pride Festival on Saturday will run from 10 a.m. until midnight, so there'll be a major presence in Ellis Square. As the parades progress, both the Pride Parade and the Savannah State Parade, the roads will be closed, but once the end of the parade passes, we'll reopen those roads in sections so that vehicles can travel. Now, one thing we do is partner with Waze to put those road closures into the Waze app, so that if you download that for either your iOS or Android devices, you'll be able to navigate around those road closures as they happen. So that's Saturday, and then on Sunday, you'll start seeing everything start open again. One thing to note is the Savannah Film Festival, as always, opens this weekend. So once the parade progresses through, the only part of Broughton Street that will remain closed is Broughton in between Lincoln and Abercorn, in between the Trustees Theater and the Gen Library. So that'll be closed for the opening week's events. And Abercorn Street in between Broughton and Congress, right next to the Trustees Theater, will be closed as well. And that's so the Savannah Film Festival can do their opening events this weekend. Sunday, everything will start returning to normal. All the events will be cleaning up and opening everything back up to the public, and the road closures will go away as early as Sunday morning. The only thing that'll be left over till Sunday evening is the film festival closure. So I'll turn it over to PD for safety here.
Good afternoon. So my name again is Captain David Owens, and I'm the commander over the special events that everything is handled through the Savannah Police Department. We just want to remind everyone that with this very large, dense crowd all through the area of Savannah, especially in the downtown area, to please, if you see anything that is suspicious or makes you go, that don't look right, don't just go, I don't want to bother 911. Call us if you think it's not right. With national trends and large crowds, we just want to make sure that people report things that they deem suspicious, and we'll find out whether they're it's okay or there's something up. We would rather you report it with large crowds than it to go unreported. So we just ask for everybody's help to do that, and want everyone to be safe and have a good time, enjoy our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. Sean Brandon has also arrived with parking services. If there are any questions for any of these, including Sean, go ahead.
My first question is, did I hear that right? Is this the first year that the Pride Festival is actually adding a parade?
That is correct.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Can you talk about one of the biggest challenges with managing so many events, and technically with the thing tonight, there's 3 parades with the cars coming in, and then you have the 2 parades. What's the biggest challenge with that?
Well, logistics are always the challenge and road closures, but fortunately, we have an excellent team standing here, and I think the community can take, some solace in knowing that we all work together, on a daily, weekly basis to make sure that, the logistics are covered, that we minimize the disruption to the business community, the residential community, while supporting the great activities, as I said, these economic and cultural opportunities through parades or other events. But it's a great question because just in the last year, we have been directed by council to start to manage these things better. The city of Savannah thought it important enough to have a special events department so that we can more holistically look at all these things and how the pieces fit together. So, logistics are tough, but every 2 weeks, this group of people and more meet to go over these permit applications and make sure that no stone is unturned. The other thing I would say to that is our partners. I can't say enough great things about Savannah Pride. I really can't. They have been fantastic. You're right. It's their first year as a parade with having their parade. They have been a great partner. The city of Savannah is asking these nonprofit groups to do a little bit more, to have a little more skin in the game. That we required them for years to do notifications, for example, but a lot of that fell on police department or other city staff people. We're asking these organizations to take that on themselves, so there's a little more accountability on that level. And with Savannah State, they've been doing this for years. It's a great community event. They know what to do. They know how to do it. And so to summarize, to answer your question, it's logistics, but you have a great team at the City of Savannah working together. Our partners in the nonprofit industries have really come to the table and understand the complexities of putting on something like this, particularly in a small area when you have another parade, on the heels or right before that. But without question, there will be something this weekend that is a mishap, but we recognize that. We will all be on standby to address those things. And as Captain Owen said, as you're out there enjoying these events, don't second guess yourself. If you see something, even if it's a traffic issue that you think needs to be addressed, call us. We'll be there. We'll be on site and ready and willing to support whatever we need to do to make things better.
Susan, is there a number in terms of how many extra people will descend upon Savannah for that? Is there an estimate?
For Pride?
I mean, no, for all of the events total, how many more people do we expect in the city for this?
We don't have a specific number, but I can tell you that the entertainment associated with the Pride Festival is a great draw. We definitely know that people are coming regionally. So it's not just the Savannah community. Folks from South Carolina, further north in Georgia or west in Georgia, and then, of course, northern Florida. We know folks are coming from there. So we do expect an influx of folks. Now, I don't think it'll be a St. Patrick's Day level event, but it's certainly one that you will see an impact. So you can expect to see more heads and beds and people on the street.
When was the last time this many different events kind of stacked on to each other in one particular weekend? Do you remember when that might have been, and what lessons you kind of learned that you're now looking to maybe implement this time around?
Well, these are, as I said originally, that these are all homegrown events. So these are events that take place every year, annually. The difference, and correct me if I'm wrong here, is the addition of the parade component to Pride. That made the difference this particular weekend. And of course, it's right in front of Rock and Roll Marathon. Lessons learned, I will say unequivocally that, having these event organizers, our nonprofit partners come to the table with all of us to develop their plans and proposals has made a significant difference in our ability to respond to what they want to have on the street, and then also help them with their notification processes and making sure the community is aware.
And you said that you're kind of advising people to maybe find other ways than driving themselves in. Now, in terms of like Uber and Lyft, are there particular areas that you're looking at as maybe designated or recommended areas for Uber and Lyft?
We did not establish a spot for Uber and Lyft like we do for St. Patrick's Day. So the short answer is no, but let me reiterate the importance of that. We are a walkable community. We're a bike community. Please find, alternative modes of transportation. We have a great bus system. People should certainly take advantage of those things. That is something we may incorporate next year, is having a set area for Uber and Lyft to drop off. And of course, as Eddie mentioned previously, please pay attention to your Waze app. Go ahead and download that on your iOS or Android.
I've got a question for Sean. You touched on it a little bit, Susan, but Sean, can you talk about, for lack of a better word, how aggressive the parking enforcement and the towing will be throughout this weekend?
So for Savannah Pride, just because it's going to be a little bit of a smaller parade, we're not going to tow for that route. However, SSU is already a large established event, and so we don't want to tow, but there may very well be some towing involved with that. Now I will note, particularly on Broughton Street, the digital meters have been set to not allow payments after 3 p.m. on Friday. So if you try to park on Broughton Street, it's not going to let you, and it's going to give you a message saying, hey, there are special events coming, you should not park on here. And that will continue through until Saturday around 2 o'clock, when we would expect the SSU Homecoming Parade to have fully moved out. I will also note DOT service will be running. It will just be running, taking the parades into consideration. So it may not run during the actual parade, but it will run immediately before and after those. Downtowner service, which is our late night on-demand service, that will also be running as regular. I would anticipate that wait times on that service will probably be higher than normal, though.
Advice for the folks, I mean, I know they live and work here, but those folks working downtown, I'd imagine this impacts them the most with parking.
So,
what's your advice to them?
So for anyone who already has a monthly card in a garage, your life doesn't really change much. We are guaranteeing those spaces to those folks, just like we would on a St. Patrick's Day. To folks who regularly park either in the core of downtown or immediately around the core, I would say allow some extra time. Also, be very careful about where you see signage. You may have to park somewhat farther out, but then that's why we have services like DOT and Downtowner. I myself live in Baldwin Park, and most likely during those days, I'm most likely either going to use rideshare or jump on my bike, as an example. But for those who are still driving in and parking, there will be spaces, but you may have to park farther out of the core.
When it comes to alcohol, is there any kind of restrictions this weekend on drinking outside in public?
No, all the regular city ordinances are applicable this weekend. So, we will have, like I said earlier, we will have additional police officers and city marshals all around the downtown area, making sure that people are following the rules and, creating a good atmosphere for our community.
Do you have specific numbers on how many more police officers will be out in the streets, how many units?
We usually don't like to give out specific numbers just in general security reasons. But there is obviously, like with the Pride Festival, and keep in mind you have your own on-duty force, and you also have different elements that are running, like the Pride Festival, that there are officers supporting just that event. So collectively, it's well covered, and it's substantially more officers than normal, but it's both part a on-duty and extra duty, off-duty situation. And we also have other partners that help us with this during this time, but it's very well covered.
Captain Owen, can I get you to talk about, if you will, I've heard before with other events in large crowds, I know like during St. Patrick's Day, there's a special way to handle if I get separated from my child. Will that be in place? And can you share those tips for parents who are going to be bringing their children to large crowds?
There's not a special area for this because it's not like the St. Patrick's Day Parade where we have a bunch of separate, completely independent events, but they're all kind of in the same area. So if you're coming downtown or you're going anywhere, it's always good to have a current, or if you're traveling to a special event that day, take a picture of your child that day and what they're wearing at that moment to have it if somehow you get separated. There's not a specific place for anybody to go. That's where I would say, again, if you find a child or someone like, just call 911. We got plenty of officers that'll be down there and will come to you versus you having to, say, go to headquarters for lost child or something, along like we do during St. Patrick's Day.
I've got one more question for Susan, if you don't mind.
Sure.
And you kind of touched on it a little bit, but as a local and as the person who lives in Savannah, while all of these events sound great, why should I go through all of this hassle that it's going to take to get downtown to enjoy them? Can you make that pitch?
Are you talking about event fatigue?
Well, I'm tired just listening to different events.
This is the third time I'm going to say it. The cultural and economic benefit to our community, the cultural and economic benefit to our community is great. We have so many wonderful organizations in our community doing great things. And I would just encourage others to come and support that. There are people that never come downtown that, live, whether it's in the unincorporated area or in the, 6th district, 5th district, what have you. And so I would encourage folks to come down because it's an opportunity to see our community, our streets activated with very positive, family-friendly, fun, different things to do. And so, as a mother myself, I'm always looking for opportunities to bring my children to something that is different. And in our very own community, we have that. And we all need to take advantage of that because ultimately, these organizations give back and take care of our community. So, whether it's Savannah State or Savannah Pride or even SCAD, come down, take some alternate transportation, try out our bus system, try out the DOT. All of these things are there for a reason, and it is to support this type of activity. So, I say it to my friends all the time, come down, see what's happening. The street's activated. It's a lot of fun. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. And, as I said at the very beginning of the press conference, exercise some patience, and I think you'll have a great time.
Is the tree thing new?
The tree thing's new.
The professional tree climbing in Tree City.
Right. That's right. We do have what he's referencing is, we are having Greenscapes is partnering with a professional tree climbing group to bring attention to, tree canopy and the like, and how important that is, not just across the country, but right here in Savannah, we have a fantastic tree canopy that we all need to take care of. And so it brings attention to that and awareness of that. So, there's all week they've been putting up things in Daffin Park, which is where our office is, where we've watched them get the trees ready to climb, and it's going to be kind of a cool thing to watch.
Good. Thank you, Susan. One thing I want to say, to reiterate, and correct me if I'm wrong, Sean, a lot of the garages downtown, obviously, for events like this, get very crowded. Whitaker Street, Bryan State. A lot of people, I think, forget about Liberty Street Garage. Well, it's just on the outskirts. That's a garage that usually has spaces for folks to park in. If there's any other questions, again, 351-3837 is the special events office, and the email is easy, events@savannahga.com. Thank you all for coming.